Welcome to the What's Up with Real Estate show. I am your host, Matt Schaup, and today I will be answering your questions about buying, selling, and investing in real estate. I will also be giving you a sneak peek into the inner workings of the real estate industry. Why? So that you can be informed and empowered to make the right decision about if, how, when, and why to hire not just a real estate agent, but a real estate professional. This is your show, so fire away your questions and your comments. I will be sure to answer them as a part of an upcoming show. Remember, I'll be keeping it real with my answers, so get ready, tune in, sit back, and let's have some fun. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Matt Schaup, and I'm joined here, episode 8, What's Up with Real Estate, with my guest and good friend,
Marc Shirazi. What's up, everybody?
Marc, what is happening, man? I've not seen you for a bit. I've been locked in my house. How have you been?
Oh, same. Just trying not to go too stir crazy from working from home.
And how are you? How are you responding to COVID? Like, just tell me what's going on in your neck of the golf course over there. You're down there living on the golf course.
That's right. Yeah, hopping in my golf cart from time to time and doing some fishing and hitting some golf balls. But it's just been totally surreal, I think might be the right word to use it. We got 20 folks in our office, and we had to transition from, being in the office every single day to everybody's working from home and continuing to do their part within a matter of a couple of days. So it was a really interesting transition. And, now we're 3 weeks into it, and it seems like everybody's starting to understand what it looks like and what it feels like, and starting to become the new norm.
Yeah. And I've seen the same thing. I mean, I feel like we all had our way of doing business and what we were used to in terms of how real estate was working in business and sales. And, we'll get into all the stuff that we do in our background because we have a fun background. But it was like, we woke up over a weekend. For me, it was Friday the 13th, wake up on Monday, and it's like a totally different planet that we're on.
Oh yeah.
We're going crazy. And I think that for me has drawn a lot of frustration. You and I had a really real raw phone call the other day, which was kind of the catalyst for this show. And for everybody watching, right, this is episode 8. You've probably noticed a little bit of a shift here. The first 7 episodes of What's Up with Real Estate answered a lot of basic questions about real estate. What's a real estate professional? How do you buy a home, sell a home? What do you look for? What if you're going to sell your own home? But I've now started bringing on guests to the show, both people just that I personally know that I may or may not have worked with in the real estate field. But Marc, you and I know each other, and we have a lot of connections, and we'll talk about that story. But you were pissed off on Friday, man, and so was I. We were both experiencing just the emotions of it's easy to fake it. Like it's easy to be a poser. It's easy to sell real estate. It's easy to sell insurance when the fruit tree is overloaded with apples and they drop on the ground. Like my son could pick up an apple in 3 years ago market. And guess what just happened? Overnight, what happened to all the apples? They're gone.
Rotten.
And they're not even hanging low. Like maybe you're a little bit better, and I'll grab this apple, but fruit just climbed all the way up the tree. In real estate, in our jiu-jitsu academy, all the businesses we own, everything we do. So before we talk about the frustration, let's hold that. But let's talk about how we know each other. Let's talk about the frustration.
Where do you start with that, huh?
We'll start wherever, man. I mean, because I want to talk about the why you're called the Persian pumpkin and all that. But I want listeners to get to the end of this show and know we work with a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, and just leaders in the community. You're a community man. Your family is rooted in Greeley. I am in Northern Colorado. We've helped our families cross I-25. We've talked about that and get established. And there's some posers right now, and they're being exposed. And I think 2 ways we can react to that. We were pissed off on Friday, but then, right, you want to look at the positive. This is going to be really good for real estate professionals, insurance professionals, and true professionals. So let's just talk about that and give people some really good takeaways for when they leave. But why are you called the Persian pumpkin?
I got something for you.
There's a story behind this, everybody watching. He is getting up.
Right.
All I could see was the floating suit. So let's tell that story. Take us back to Bad Daddy's Halloween.
Let's see. I graduated from college in 2015. And I showed up to work September 1st of 2015. I'll never forget it, right? First and foremost, I showed up probably wearing something like this. And my boss dad kicked me out of the office and told me to go put on a tie. Fast forward a couple months, it's Halloween, right? And I've always loved Halloween, always loved dressing up. I think it's a blast. So I looked at my boss dad and I was like, hey, what's the rule on dressing up? This is my first, real professional job. Are you okay if I wear a costume? And he said, no, absolutely not. In his old Persian, like, no.
No,
right? And
no.
so I was like, okay, no problem. So I went and I found myself this bright orange suit. So showed up to work on Halloween wearing this bright orange suit and said, all right, no worries, not dressed up, just wearing a suit. And he got really mad, threw me out of the office, but it's been a staple in my life. And every Halloween I bring it out and I always get some good attention.
And I think that we had lunch and we were Bad Daddy's Burgers, right, in Johnstown Plaza, and you just roll in, and this is what I wear. I don't wear suits, and you make fun of me. I remember I roll into your office with my Spanish coffee to meet your family, and they're like, "Who's this guy? Does it without a suit?" But you rolled into the middle of the burger joint with that bright orange suit, and you've been the Persian pumpkin, man. You're my pumpkin ever since.
I have zero qualms about wearing it. I love it. I love the bright colors. Even now, I'm wearing this red one. Yeah, I love it. I think it's a blast, and I even have a special Christmas one now that I deliver Christmas gifts in.
Beautiful.
A little dirty Santa suit.
Okay. I remember when we had your condo listed, right? That was your first piece of real estate, and before you moved to the other side of Water Valley, and I was at an open house, and these family came through. I can't remember who was comprised of, but they're looking in your closet. You've got all your suits, and they're like, "Wow, look at this gentleman's organized. And they started flowing through your suits and everything, and it was funny, man.
I'll tell you what. For the next episode, I'll take you a tour of my new closet, and I'll show you all the new suits I got.
We will do an episode 2 of us down the road on another episode. So we've done some real estate together, and I mean we can talk about that. But I mean, take me to your frustration in the industry. You're in the insurance sales industry. I'm in the check this out, right? Originally paint contracting. Now real estate, right? Realtor. What is that? We have a jujitsu academy, but I'm in these professions with these stereotypes. Painter, stereotype, and I say, it's true. It's true because it is a lot of it. It's the majority. It's the drunk guy in a truck that shows up. He's good at painting, but he's not good at business, and he freaks out Mr. and Mrs. homeowner and the kids. I don't know if like politicians, insurance, realtor, painter, who's the most despised, but I mean, you're in an industry.
Politicians, realtors.
So you think what? You think painter? What did you say? You said painter?
Well, no, insurance. Insurance, politician, realtor, and painting's up here. They get a nice high when you come in, and you brush all over the wall. And
all right.
I think they like you guys.
Well, hey, but we both know that we're in industries where there's already a stereotype that, they don't do these 13 things. They don't provide value, create solutions, actually have experience, be authentic, be a trusted advisor, right? Have your best interest in mind. They're not in it for themselves. I talked about in episode 2, this guy was going to roll over 600,000 of a guy's 401k and felt like I've been dating this guy for so long. Do I need to, his girlfriend, do I need to marry him? I'm ready to just make my $20,000 commission, and wanted to puke. So tell me how you've differentiated yourself and what you would tell guests that are watching this, that are thinking of hiring a real estate professional or any professional in any industry, insurance, you included, because I know you're going to share this with everybody. What have you done? What has your family done? Because the name Shirazi, when people say it, it means something in the Greeley community, and it means something really awesome.
Yeah, I'm fortunate to have been blessed to be born into a really great family. I think, when people say Shirazi, and the reason I think it's a pretty well-known name here in Northern Colorado, it's because my dad, my uncle, my mom, and my aunt, they've all done such a great job of caring for the community, right? I think that's always been their number one thing. Like my dad came here in late 1970s with no money, no English, and this community accepted him and embraced him. And I think for all of his 40 some years that he's lived here, 50 some years that he's lived here, he's been constantly trying to give that back to the community, give everybody else the opportunity that they gave to him. So, right now, to jump in and talk about some of the frustrations I've been experiencing, it's, we're getting some push from our our national leadership to, you know, make sure that we're getting out and selling, and prospecting, and creating touches and creating activity. And, you know, even some of our vendors, they're pushing on us to make sure that we get clients or prospects logged. And, you know, right now for me, that's really frustrating, because now is not a time to go win new business. To me,
No.
now's the time to really support your community and support those people that have trusted you and given you your platform. But then, you know, also extend that hand, and just make sure that you're doing everything from your standpoint, right? Delivering, you know, from a real estate side, delivering home values and letting people know that, hey, this is going to be a short-term run, or we're anticipating something longer, or just, I think just being there for those people that have trusted you and given you the opportunity to succeed has been, you know, a really important part for us.
You know, and I love hearing you say that. So like when you first started saying, you know, hey, national leadership, right? They're putting the push on, and I've heard this from other business owners and salespeople is, hey, my boss is telling me to, right, prospect, generate leads, book appointments, close deals, fill the pipeline, and all of that language. Like, I'm a sales guy, right? That makes me want to throw up right now,
Oh, big time.
because
Yeah.
I have, like, there's people dying, like there's people that
Yeah.
are legitimately dying and dead. I have friends and family in Spain going, like, you know, I've got, you know, you guys know I've got my bull right back here. This is all my stuff. And yeah, when people are dying and worry that they might die, they don't want to hear your sales pitch. And apart from that, aside from that, and I'm not discounting the fact that that's happening, people are afraid, they're uncertain,
Hmm.
and the calls that I'm getting from people, and I name some examples, but you can tell exactly where they're at, that whether they're being forced or that's their mindset, is they're here to
Yeah.
close a deal, to take, to make, to keep out of fear, and they're not extending that hand, they're not showing that. So, you know, I'm not even giving CMAs right now. I'm handing out boxes of chocolate like Forrest
Mhm.
Gump. I'm handing out Spanish coffee and chocolate
Yeah.
paintbrushes, and really listening to my clients to see what they need, to what they could use, and then I'm just loving on them. But
Yeah.
what you made some really awesome points. What are some things that you're doing above and beyond, because we have to
Yeah.
deliver the deliverable, right? Like,
Sure.
I'll give you a CMA, but you don't care about a CMA right now. You want a CMA because you're scared to death of maybe losing your home, and you just need some hope and some certainty. And a CMA is not really going to do that. I think something
Right.
bigger will. So how are you and your family, like, how have you done that in the past? How have you shown your heart to the community, and what are you doing right now above and beyond those things?
Yeah, well, I think it maybe helps to understand a little bit of what I do, right? So I'm a
Yep.
employee benefits advisor. So I help employers, owners, HR teams put together health and welfare plans, right? Anything from 401ks all the way down to dental and vision and accident plans from Aflac, right? So that's a lot of what we do. And to me, and I talk a lot to our team about this, I think we make a difference in our community every single day, because in the last 30 days, we've gotten about 600 different touches, right? From individuals within organizations asking about health insurance or asking about dental and vision coverage. You know, you're one of them, right? We're trying to get you some
Yep.
money back on an orthodontic claim. So I think we do work every single
Thank you
day.
for that. Thank you. It was my bad for not doing that when I should have.
Yeah, no worries, right? But I think we're making an impact every single day in our communities, one person at a time, right? You reach out to us, we help you out, and we just do it not because we're wanting money back, or not because we want loyalty, or any of those items. I think we do it because it makes us feel good. And number two, I think it's who we are. So when we hire people within our organization, we're really focusing on empathy and compassion. We can teach insurance and those little things all day long. So I think it really starts there. You know, the people that we bring into our team and the people that we surround ourselves, we're all very community oriented.
Yeah.
And that's just always been our main focus, and our bottom line is, hey, how can I help my community? If I'm doing the right things, the sales or the wins will come as people can see who I am, right? And
Hold
what
on.
I
So
mean and what I do.
you just said your bottom line is not the bottom line.
Right. It never has been for me. And again, maybe I'm blessed and born into a different type of situation, but that was never it for me. Even today, I don't chase deals for money. And in fact, I chase people. The people that I see making a big difference in our community and being really impactful are those that I want to surround myself with. And I view those community leaders as really my big prospects, not because they have a lot of employees, but because they make a big difference.
So chasing people, not chasing
Yeah,
deals. And
yeah,
I love that, man. And it's funny because like Mark's not making this stuff up. I know Mark. You know, you called,
yeah,
checked in on me. Here's one thing that I've seen, and I think it's interesting is you know, we talk about the low-hanging fruit, right? And these people that are just picking up, their cold calling is easy. That's how I got into the painting business. You know, I worked for a company where
yeah,
it was that was the sales model. It wasn't even the company, but 20 years ago it was ABC, always be closing, you know, churn and burn leads, conversions, all of that stuff. And then social media came along and exposed a lot of the frauds. And that's a whole nother episode. But I've noticed a couple of things. There's people like, you know, say insurance salesmen, there's insurance salesmen, they're reaching out and they're calling and they're cold calling, they're reaching out and they're grasping and they're chasing deals to get to make bottom line money,
yeah,
profit on the
yeah,
P&L, right? And then there's people like you on the flip side that because you've spent so much time, I'm hearing you say in the community already for decades, right? Your family, the bottom line is not the bottom line. The bottom line is about people and culture. You're chasing people every day, so they're calling you.
yeah,
They're calling you. I was calling you about something else. You were calling me, but you don't have to chase in good times and bad times. People are
yeah,
actually looking to you. I'm hearing you say as a resource, as a light of hope, of a true trusted advisor. Because you can fake it when things are good. You sit down, hey Mark, here's your real estate review. I'm your trusted
yeah.
advisor. Whatever. Like, yeah.
And
So I
you know,
love that.
another thing I just don't think that we, you know, Shirazi Benefits do a great job of is highlighting, you know, our community contributions. So we
Yep.
insure over 350 organizations between, you know, all of Colorado, mostly northern Colorado, California, right, a couple other states. But every year, right, at budget time and every quarter, we sit down as owners and partners and we review this big long list of all the different charities that we're contributing to or all the different events that help people out. We're not big on advertising that. We don't have a community page on our website, right? These are all just relationships that we've built. And I think, you know, to your point of I sometimes don't have to chase that hard because of all the hard work that my dad and uncle and family has done over the last 40 years to create that name is because they're getting involved in organizations like that. And while it's not totally necessary or expected from our clients that, hey, we're going to sign you on as the broker of record and you're going to help us out, but for that to happen, you have to write us a $2,000 check, right? Like that's not happening in our world. We're offering it. We're getting involved. We're doing those things. So I think a lot of the name recognition comes from our willingness, to your point, to not care about the bottom line, but to give away our bottom line.
And your family's kindness has no strings attached. And
It really never does. Yeah.
I've experienced that. And one example, and let's see, I think I can share. Can I share the whole story without implicating people? I believe so. So we were at the is it the Greeley Boys and Girls Club dinner? I think
Yep.
that was the first time that like because I met you through Amanda, and we
Yeah.
did business together. We we're giving you insurance, we're doing real estate. You're
Which, by
introducing.
the way, I gotta give me a minute towards the end of this. I gotta tell you the story of
Okay.
how Amanda told me not to sell you.
Okay, oh, I know what you're going to say. Okay, so we'll get into that. I'll note that down. But what I really remember, like the kindness with no strings attached, is you invited us to the Boys and Girls Club and told us what it looked like, and that was the first time that Emily and I and we had other people from the team. Our
Yeah.
family got to meet your family. We crossed I-25, right, and we
Yeah.
kind of brought our groups together, and we were bidding. We knew that there was a Persian dinner, and I've heard about these Persian dinners that your dad throws, right? So he comes over here, he worked
Yeah.
his you know what off, and he wants to
Absolutely.
share the culture he came from with the people that he loves and cares about. So these Persian dinners are like infamous, and I'm hearing about them. There may be Patron. I heard there might have been Patron there.
Just
And
one little bottle.
so we said, hey, he donates 2 Persian dinners to the Boys and Girls Club. And we said, we were going to get together anyway. He was going to do that regardless. Like we were already
Yeah.
invited. And we said, let's bid this thing up. And I remember we were bidding this thing up, and whatever the number was doesn't matter. But he's like, I'll cook it for you anyway.
Yep.
Let's do something for the kids. And it was fun. And you and I are competitive.
Yeah.
So who were we bidding against? It was some other company, or maybe between tables.
All I know is that I ended up paying $1,200 to eat dinner at my parents' house that night. So that was fun.
So did we, right? And it's like, but we would have
Yeah.
done it anyway, and it was for a good cause. So,
Yeah.
I love that you're saying that. I mean, like, we talked about what are we going to name our episode before we got on, and we said we'll figure it out as we go. And I think we've got a couple of names here. So,
Yeah.
you know, I know you want to share a story about Amanda. in terms of how not to introduce me. But what I'd love to wrap up with is I've been meeting with, talking to, engaging with, and people have been reaching out to me. They're scared, they're uncertain, right? They're filled with fear, all of these negative emotions. They're putting themselves into this state of loss and scarcity, and they're spiraling mentally out of control and then placing themselves there. And then everything else physically is following. And like they're putting themselves out of business. There's businesses that have closed down. And my goal right now, I don't care about real estate. Like that'll just happen. I'm here to be a positive beacon of light and hope for people during times of uncertainty. I'm always that, and you know that. So I help people shift their state and look at the positive and the bright side. So somebody that's watching this, that's about to lose their business, they're about to lose their marriage, they're going crazy. This thing has changed the dynamic of how humans interact and do business, and it will forever. It's not going to go back to normal. It's going to be a new normal. What would you tell them, regardless of their circumstance, but they've got something on the line, backs against the wall, they're about to lose big right now? What do you say?
Yeah, slow down, take a second, take a pause, hit pause, find your happy place for just a couple of minutes. I liken it to when we first kind of started getting a lot of these stay-at-home orders. A lot of organizations decided, hey, I'm going to start furloughing people, right? Or, instead of laying them off, I'm just going to furlough them. I'm going to put them on the side, not give them any hours until we really figure out what's going on. I thought that was a big move by employers, right? Instead of just panicking and saying, hey, that's it, you're laid off, we'll bring you back. Furlough, right, keeps people eligible for health insurance. And so it's got some really good kicks to it. But I liken it to, we had so much information coming to us from our attorneys, from legislation, from the government, and it was just flowing into my inbox, right? And the first thing that I constantly wanted to do as soon as I got a piece of information was share it with everybody. Like, I thought, this is the greatest piece of information. It pertains to everybody. And the first thing I want to do is mass shoot it to everybody. Well, then in 2 hours, we got a new piece of information that was just a little bit different. Now, all of a sudden, I'm in that same rat race. So what I found myself doing was, hey, wait a whole day. Like, people are going to be okay for a couple hours. Wait a whole day, get all of the information, then send it out towards the end of the night. And I think that can help a lot of people in that situation. Slow down, take a breath, really identify what's going on around you. What resources do you need, or what kind of conversations do you need to have with which people to say, hey, this is a totally unprecedented time. Everybody is experiencing this. Can we just put a pause on this and really identify what's going on and then move forward?
Yeah. So I'm hearing you say, obviously, the slow down. So you can't control what you can't control.
I've been reading this phenomenal book. It's called The Collaborative Way. I wish I had it. I'd show it to you guys. No, that's not it. It's a phenomenal book. It's called The Collaborative Way. And one of their things is that you need to slow down to speed up. And I think that's part of it, right? If you want to get something done, and you want to get something done now, or you want to react or act to a certain situation, and it's slow down, take a breath, digest all the information, make the right move the first time around, and it'll end up in a much better space for you.
I love that they say that in jiu-jitsu, that slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah.
You would know if you came into jiu-jitsu. You're still invited. And now you can't come into jiu-jitsu. So we've totally taken that all online. Like, we've revamped the entire academy. So you and Eric, the celebrity Greeley family deathmatch cannot.
Well, hey, I'm happy that I don't have the pressure to come in now, so I'm not as worried about your 12-year-old son whooping my what.
Nope, you can just do it in your basement at your own pace, and we'll send you to Riley later.
All right, cool. I might need a couple years of training.
He's a beast, man. He's getting big and he's getting strong, and like he does legitimately scare me sometimes when he starts going out grappling. It's legit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's not a kid I'd mess with.
I wish I had that as a kid. Like, I had a conversation with him. We're going off script from everything here, real estate, but I got bullied. I got severely bullied growing up. I was scared of the world as a kid, and I was having a conversation with Riley about that. And he kind of looked at me like I don't get that. And I said, you're not. This is what I experienced as a kid, walking outside, going to school, going to the playground. He's like, yeah, I don't experience that. And I'm just. Yeah, so cool. Like, he doesn't have to go through what I went through.
Yeah,
and he would choke you with your own suit, man.
I know it. Yeah, I know. That's why I never stepped in a ring with him. I wouldn't do it when he was 9. I'm not going to do it now, and I'm certainly not going to do it in 3 years.
Yeah, it's not going to get any better for you.
Yeah, I know it.
Hey, so before we go, you've shared, man. I took like all kinds of notes here. You've shared a million Wonderful pieces of tidbits and wisdom. What's the story that you're going to share that you're either not supposed to? What did
Yeah.
Amanda tell you?
Well, I actually think it fits into our situation a little bit, right? Because we're in this again unprecedented time. Nobody feels comfortable. Nobody knows what the outcome looks like. Like we just got the information from the Colorado, government today that they're going to extend this out till April 26th, or the stay-at-home order. So
Yeah.
it's an ever-evolving situation. But in times that we're not supposed to sell, I think as long as your intentions are in the right place, you'll find that sales kind of come to you, or you kind of attract some of them. So my favorite story, and really how I got involved with Matt here. By the way, I'm a two-time C3 Matt Schaub real estate client, right? I mean, we do their benefits. We're very intertwined. So, but the first time, Amanda Erickson was our compliance director at Shirazi. I think you guys have known each other all the way back to high school. So
We
she brought
go
you
all the way
in
back
as
to
like
high
this.
school.
Yep. And she brought you in as this rah entrepreneur guy, which lo and behold you are, right? And it's not a front, it's just who you are deep down inside. And so, she thinks that we might be the right personality fit, within the organization for us to chase some of the benefits. So I'm like, okay, great, let's go sit down with them. And before we walk in, she goes, just one thing, you can sell them on like life insurance or dental or vision or whatever, but he really likes his broker right now, and I just think that you should stay away from it. I was like, yeah, okay, Amanda, no problem. And I'm still pretty young at this point in time, but I had a feeling I knew what I was doing. So I go to Matt, and we're sitting in our little room and upstairs above M&E, the old one above M&E.
Yes, yes.
Amanda's there, Matt's there, I'm there, and she knows that I'm going to start selling health insurance. And sure enough, it comes right down to it. She shoots me this dirty look, like, no, don't go down that path. And I was like,
Yep.
no, I need to go down this path. It's not because I want his money or I want his business. It's because he's overpaying for health insurance. And I have
Which I was, yeah.
I have a product that is going to be better for you and for your organization because it's industry specific, right? And it's cheaper. And we were able to get you a great deal, add some orthodontic to your dental plan, right?
Yep.
And I mean, from that meeting, you were like, yeah, let's do it. And Amanda looked at me and she was like, that really just happened? And I was like, yeah, because I wasn't trying to sell you. I wasn't trying to win your business. I was just trying to demonstrate to you, whether it was me or another broker, that there's a great product out here for you that you're not taking advantage of.
Well, and I remember that, and I remember you drew these circles, and that's like, I felt like all you do is wear suits, golf, and draw circles all day, and that's
pretty much it. That's pretty much
business.
It,
but no, I mean, it was for me, it was one of those things when like I know when I'm being sold, and you came in there with, you're like, hey, I'm Mark, I'm me, I'm in my suit, and here's who I am, and you're not going to leave and not give your value proposition, but you didn't lead with it, but you're also stupid to not leave that proposition there.
Yeah.
Let me do whatever I want with it. And I appreciated that as a sales, because I'm a salesman. Like I've been selling stuff since I was 9 years old. So no, I really appreciated that about you. And, but I think especially now is different, because I would almost put in asterisks or parentheses or quotes, or not quotes, but asterisks with what I just said is right now, man, I'm not saying anything about paint, jiu-jitsu, memberships, real estate deals. I ask 3 questions. How are you doing? And I mean it. Mark, how are you doing? How is this affecting you? How can I help? And what I've seen is, with those answers, I know what state they're in. And then they may not know how I can help. I see how I can help, and I just help. And then the ones that are in a good state, or that are also like-minded in that they want to return that mindset, those 13 things, they say back to me, how can I help? Mm-hmm. And what's not on my mind at that point? Roofing. We opened a roofing division. Like we need to go sell roofing right now, and we're selling roofing. But I was really bummed about what was going on in Spain. Like, and I just wanted to talk about it. Like that kills me right now, So I've experienced it on both ends of the sales pipeline and funnel,
I think the important thing is just to be unapologetically yourself, right? If you're genuine and you care about people, don't apologize for it. Be that. Stay in touch with folks. You don't have to sell. You can just check in on them. And I think that's a really valuable and undersold trait or tool that, we don't see all the time in our economy.
Well, and when you're 100% authentic, you don't need to worry about, do I need to be like this with this person or this with that person to trade? You need to adjust the personality styles and things, whole nother episode. But yeah, you're just you. And if they don't like the Persian pumpkin, on the golf course with a nice suit, then they can go hire the schlep rock insurance agent, or maybe another insurance agent that's a better fit, right? You're not the only one. There's also other great ones in town too, right? So it's not saying we're the only thing. There's great real estate professionals in town. If you don't like me, call these people, and you do the same thing, man. So that's why I love you. Anything else that you want to share before we sign off? And
I got another fun Amanda story.
No, you
honestly, I owe Amanda a lot. She was at Shirazi.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. And we have to give her a shout out and her new company, because she's killing it. She's helped us so much, Mark, through what we got going on right now.
Right. Yeah, she was our director of compliance when I first got to Shirazi, and she had a little bit of background in selling. I think she did some of the painting stuff with you in college. And
we did.
So I'll never forget. She actually took me on my first cold calls, right? And I owe Amanda a lot. I think she really taught me how to sell and taught me, some of the background of selling, right? Fortunes in the follow-up and how to keep track of it and all this stuff, right? So I definitely owe her a lot, and she was great to me in my career. But I remember her saying to me, maybe you shouldn't wear a suit to this construction client, or, maybe you shouldn't wear a suit to the meat packing client. And to me, I was like, no, it doesn't matter what environment I'm just going to be myself. And the way that stemmed was, my dad showed up in his, I don't know, however expensive Mercedes-Benz. He worked very hard and he's unapologetic about his success, which I find refreshing and really like. But he showed up to a client in his expensive Mercedes, and they looked out the window, and as soon as he walked in, they said, "Sorry, we're not interested in your services. You roll up here in your however expensive Mercedes-Benz." And I remember him telling me this story. He goes, "I'm unapologetic about it. I worked my ass off to for my community, for myself, for my family, to be able to enjoy those things." So just going back to being unapologetically yourself and wearing suits, even when it's, maybe not necessary, right? Or wearing a bright orange suit. It's who I am. And I think it's fun. And, just be yourself always.
And especially what's really hit me in listening to what you're saying is knowing your dad and knowing his story, and he came from nothing. He built this with nothing. And I mean, if you look at his story on paper, he shouldn't be where he is today. There's no other thing to say that he was blessed by God and he worked his ass off, right? Because we've talked about this. So in times like this, for me, I went down the path of like, okay, I've got families to feed. If this money stops, and I did all the macro and microeconomics and said, how much runway do we have? And what if we don't do it? We're going to lose everything we worked for. And I said, I'm okay with that. Like, I started with nothing, and I've taken myself back to 2005 when I had nothing and I was a couple $100,000 in debt. And I told Emily, I go, if we lose all this, cool, open hands, here it is. And I'll go build it again, because that would be a cool story. Now, I prefer not to. Right. That part of me, I want to keep my house. I like my house. I like this place, but I'm cool losing it. And I think for your dad, same way. Like, so I'm going to pull up in my Honda Accord. I got the sport version, but I'm not sorry for it. And, and you can take it, take it. And I know I earned it. And, I love that. So this situation for me has really made me realize that, where I came from. Because when we talk about fat and happy, everybody's been real fat and happy for a long time. We have too. Nothing wrong with that. But you forget when that's not being threatened. And this thing all of a sudden threatened to take a lot of things from a lot of people that they've worked for, earned. And the people that took the handout, they're just asking for more handouts. So I love it, man.
But, in this time, just don't be a sleazy salesperson. All right. Help your community, make sure that you're doing the things that you should be doing. And everything else will come and work out as it should. But
I love it. So don't be a sleazy knucklehead realtor. Schmuck. What else do we call it? All these, like, don't be that, because we're going to call you out, and I'm going to call you out. So is Mark. What do you call him in the insurance world?
We got too many names. Started going down that path.
Slime ball.
Yeah, that's it. I like.
All right, my man. Well, hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for being here on the show, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon, man. Were you hanging out on the golf course and?
That's it. That's it.
There you go, man. Well, you go get it. I'm gonna go refill my Spanish coffee, get back to work, and
all right,
talk.
Shelby. Take it easy, buddy.
Yeah.